You want them to love you. You want their loyalty to be born from affection, from warmth, from gratitude. But Machiavelli didn't believe in that. He believed love is temporary, that affection fades with distance, that gratitude dies with inconvenience, and the loyalty born from it is fragile. He wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, when one of the two must be lacking." And he was right, because when people love you, they feel free, free to come and go, free to question your authority, free to leave when it's no longer convenient. But when they fear you, even just a little, they hesitate, they calculate, they respect the consequences. Fear creates boundaries, and boundaries create order. Love is beautiful, but it demands constant reassurance. It weakens in chaos. It retreats in crisis. Fear, on the other hand, stays. It sharpens people's attention. It disciplines their behavior. It keeps their loyalty in place, not because they want to disobey, but because they fear the cost of doing so. This isn't about cruelty, it's about structure. You see, Machiavelli lived in a world of betrayal. Kings were murdered by cousins. Allies turned to enemies overnight. Words were tools, not truths. And in that world, a ruler who was loved and nothing more didn't last. So he gave the prince a brutal lesson. Let love decorate your reign, but let fear secure it. Be kind, but not indulgent. Be generous, but not vulnerable. Be just, but not easily moved. Because when people sense that you need their approval, they lose respect. When they feel you'd rather be liked than obeyed, they stop obeying. But when they know your tolerance has limits, when they know betrayal has a price, they behave. They may not love you, but they'll stay loyal. And in power, that's worth more than affection. You've seen it in life. The boss who wants to be everyone's friend gets walked on. The parent who only seeks love raises children who don't listen. The partner who fears conflict becomes the one abandoned. Why? Because love without structure becomes weakness, and weakness invites testing, and testing leads to collapse. But fear, even just a hint of it, creates space, creates gravity, creates the invisible walls that protect your value. And here's the cruel irony. The more they love you, the more they test you. But the more they fear losing you, the more they behave. You've been told that love builds kingdoms, that if you're good enough, kind enough, they'll stay, that loyalty grows in warmth. But history laughs at that, because warmth fades, and human nature forgets. The hand you feed today is the same one that may slap you tomorrow, not because it hates you, but because it's no longer afraid. Machiavelli knew this. When fear is absent, power leaks. When people no longer sense consequences, they revert. They become careless, and careless minds destroy what once protected them. So he taught this brutal truth. Love makes people feel secure, but fear makes them behave. In love, people assume forgiveness. In fear, they assume limits. In love, they relax. In fear, they calculate. So which one guards your throne longer? It's not about being heartless. It's about being remembered. The person who inspires love may be cherished, but the one who inspires fear is obeyed, even in absence. Because fear imprints. It carves itself into memory. It teaches through silence, and that's why it endures. You've probably felt it too. That friend who always forgives gets disrespected. That teacher who tries to be nice gets ignored. That partner who's always understanding becomes invisible. Because love becomes the background noise, expected, assumed, and eventually dismissed. But fear, even just a little, becomes a signal. It demands recognition. It pulls attention. It shapes behavior. This doesn't mean you become a tyrant. It means you stop thinking love is enough, because love without weight is air. But fear, subtle, respectful fear, is gravity. It keeps your world grounded. It keeps your name from being taken lightly. It keeps loyalty from fading into comfort. And here's the strange twist. Those who love you without fearing you often betray you first, not out of hatred, but because they think you'll tolerate it. So ask yourself, do they stay because they value you, or because they know you'll stay no matter what? If your love has no limits, their loyalty will have none either. We want to believe that loyalty is noble, that it's based on values, on integrity, that the people who stay with us do so out of honor. But Machiavelli whispered a darker truth. People are loyal to what they fear losing, not to what they love, not to what they admire, not even to what they believe in. They're loyal to what controls outcomes, to what rewards obedience, to what punishes disobedience. That's the machinery behind true power. Because if your leadership depends on being loved, you're always at risk of being replaced. Someone funnier, richer, more agreeable can steal their hearts. But fear doesn't get replaced so easily. It sits deeper. It roots in the subconscious. It doesn't need applause. It only needs to be remembered. This is why rulers fall. They mistake temporary love for permanent loyalty. They feed comfort and kill consequence. They think charm is enough. But charm fades. Fear doesn't. Because even in your absence, they'll still hear your voice in the back of their mind. They'll remember your boundaries, your reactions, your silence after betrayal. And that memory is what keeps order when your presence is gone. Even in relationships, this is true. The partner who says, "I'll leave if you disrespect me," is often more respected than the one who says, "I'll stay no matter what." Why? Because one sets a cost, the other sets a guarantee. And humans, at their core, don't value guarantees. They test them, they push them, they exploit them. But when there's a cost, they pause. This is the paradox. If your love comes with no threat of leaving, their loyalty will come with no fear of losing. So what do? You don't become cruel, you become clear. Your kindness is strong, not soft. Your love has limits, not conditions. Your loyalty is earned, not given blindly. And your presence? It isn't assumed, it's respected. Machiavelli knew that fear isn't about brutality. It's about clarity. It's about creating the unspoken question in people's minds. What happens if I cross this line? That question, not affection, not admiration, is what keeps empires standing. And sometimes that's what keeps love alive too. If you want loyalty that lasts, not moments of affection, but structure, obedience, stability, then you must stop asking for love and start commanding respect. Respect is not earned by generosity alone, it is earned by consequence. When people know your boundaries, when they understand that certain lines have costs, they behave differently. You've seen it. The moment someone realizes you won't leave, they stop trying, but the moment they realize you can and will, they adjust. They respect your presence, because absence is a weapon, and fear is its edge. This is what Machiavelli understood better than anyone. Power is not about domination, it's about discipline. It's not about cruelty, it's about clarity. And clarity says, my loyalty has limits. My love has edges. My forgiveness is not forever. Fear doesn't mean they cower, it means they consider. It makes them measure their words. It keeps them from turning comfort into entitlement. But here's what most people never realize. Fear alone is not enough. You can't build an empire just by being feared, because fear fades when you're absent, unless there's something else keeping it alive. Opposition. This is where Machiavelli's genius sharpens. He knew fear lasts longer when there's something to fear, not just you, but enemies. When people are afraid of what happens without you, of the chaos, the instability, the vultures circling, they cling to your leadership. They remain loyal because they believe you are the shield, and that's the key. Loyalty through fear is most effective when you're the lesser evil, when your absence seems more dangerous than your rule. This is why smart rulers don't just tolerate enemies, they use them. They allow opposition to exist, not to destroy them, but to remind the people what destruction looks like. Fear then becomes strategic, not emotional, not violent, but intelligent. And you become the one who holds the chaos back. So ask yourself, do they stay with you out of comfort, or because without you, everything falls apart? Would they still obey if you were no longer the shield? Or would their loyalty fade the moment peace arrived? You want to know who's truly loyal? Remove the enemy, remove the fear, and watch who stays. Or better yet, use the enemy, use the fear, and make sure they never forget. That love may be beautiful, but fear is unforgettable. And the question you must ask now is, what would happen if the very thing that's protecting them suddenly disappeared?